Welcome to IAYTD, and today we are talking about Brad's Status. This is a new movie starring Ben Stiller as a dad who's taking his son off to do some college tours, and in this journey he's kind of looking back at his life and questioning the choices he made, and is he successful, and comparing himself to his other friends that are now millionaires and things like that. And if you've never seen one of my reviews before, we're going to talk about what worked, we're going to talk about what didn't work, and then I'm going to give this movie a score. So what worked? This movie is probably Ben Stiller's best performance in a serious role. It's not really that funny, but he gets a chance to kind of show this whole range of emotion, and he does great. And it's refreshing to see, and it's nice to kind of have him back in the limelight because it's been a while. So his performance is great. Everyone else is fine, but he really holds it up here. This movie also smartly plays with reality in that so many things that we think and our opinions can be changed, and the way we see reality might be different based on perspective. And so we get to see different versions of reality where he sees different futures, or he thinks, what if I were doing this? And we get to see kind of everything that's going on, usually inside our own head. And so this is a very relatable movie that you can say, like, yeah, I totally have heard something and then blew it up to the extreme in my head, and maybe that wasn't the reality. And so we see a lot of that here. We also see a lot of very relatable moments of pondering and thinking and questions we always ask, but we never ask out loud. We get to hear all of that because the whole movie is narrated by Ben Stiller. And so we're hearing his kind of internal dialogue, things that you would never say out loud, but questions he's asking, things he's questioning about his current life situation and doubts that he has. And so this movie perfectly gets you to like kind of be in his shoes. It also made me think about my own life as this movie was happening. That he would be talking to an old college buddy, or he would be thinking about where he was when he, like all of these moments made me think about my experiences. And I found myself, I don't know if this is good or bad, daydreaming and thinking about like, well, who is that person in my life? Or would I ask a similar question? Or have I been in that situation? So this movie kind of opens up these floodgates to your own experiences, and it's really smartly done. What doesn't work? The movie is relatively slow. It takes a long time for these kind of actual plot points to happen, and so you might be bored. The narration by Ben Stiller, while effective, is not super engaging because there's often times where he's just sitting and thinking, which doesn't make for great movies all the time. So you might find yourself very bored with Brad's Status, especially if you're not relating at all to this experience. Not gonna really enjoy it that much. The ultimate payoff here at the very end of the movie is also somewhat disappointing, that it kind of leaves you with like a ending instead of that punch that you want. It kind of reminds me of his other serious movie recently, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Trailers were great. I had a lot of expectations for this movie, and the ending just didn't leave me reeling the way that I wanted. And Brad's Status also left me a little disappointed at the end. So overall, is this a good movie? Yes. Ben Stiller is great, and if you can relate to it, like I can, it's awesome. And there's moments that you're like, yes. There's moments that are kind of intense, and you're like, oh, like I've been there, I've had that conversation, or I've had to make that decision. But if you're not in a place to relate to this, this may not be your cup of tea. If you're younger, if you're maybe not even in college yet, or you're in college, you can maybe relate to that character. But the strongest perspective here is if you're outside of college and you're able to look back like this character does. That is probably the, hate to say it, target demographic for this film. It is a little slow. It takes a while for things to happen in the ending. Not as powerful as I wanted. So the movie's good, not great, but in my ranking, is it good? Yes. So that is it for this review. I've been reviewing some other movies, but I was a little under the weather, and so I didn't put out videos. So if you're curious about my thoughts on Lego Ninjago or The Kingsman 2, there are written reviews and snapshot Instagram reviews at IAYTD right there. Shout out again to the 16-bit couple for creating that image. Check that out. If you want to look at other movie reviews and stuff, subscribe. Check them out. There's all sorts of stuff here. Thanks for watching.